We're going to talk about the Prop 12 ruling for California and how that might impact Arkansas. The Mississippi River levels are back in the news, and so much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Happy Thursday, gentlemen and ladies.
We've got an audience
That's
today.
Gentlemen's, ladies and lady and gentlemen. How about that?
Yeah, that works.
Careful, you're going to mess yourself up.
I know. I was just saying, like, we need a live monitor or something. So if you're sitting in on the show, you can hear what we're hearing, which is.
I thought you meant you need a keeper.
Also, yes.
It's like a Ron Burgundy situation. Whatever's on the teleprompter,
hey,
you'll read it.
If it's on here, buddy, it's coming out of my mouth. I can assure you. That's why I keep a tight lock on this.
Yeah. Did you read what I'm going to read?
No, I didn't.
I didn't think you did.
I did not. I see brisket.
Yeah.
That's all. My eye went straight to brisket, and I'm hungry already. Hungry and cold. How we record every one of these episodes.
Food, cold temp inside the building or room.
Yeah. Well, let's start off by saying hi, hello. If you're listening or watching the podcast today, we are glad for you being here, as always.
Absolutely.
It's that time of year where folks are spending time in equipment and tractors, and they like to listen. I was having lunch with one of our faithful listeners earlier this week, and he mentioned, you know what? Yeah, he's talked to both of us about this podcast many times, and he said, I've got a confession to make.
Uh-oh.
I've never watched it.
That's fine.
I have no idea what the set looks like. And I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, I think we've got more people who exclusively listen than we probably realize.
Yeah, I was talking to some family over the weekend about the same thing. I was like, man, I was just thinking, he's a farmer. And he was saying that, you know, when he listens to it, he's not watching it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, well, that makes complete sense. Most of our customers are not customers, but people that are listening are going to be in their tractor or their vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Harvest will be a combine.
And when you look at us, it's easier.
It is hard to look
just
at
listen.
us.
So easier on the eyes, certainly. You
got a voice for podcasts, not so much face for it.
Anyway, I will also want to welcome. You notice we said lady and gentlemen again, apparently. Welcome, Katie Parker, our marketing intern for the summer. Katie is with us in studio today, and we are very glad to have you with us. Katie's from Carlisle. She's an ag business student at Arkansas State University. Go Red Wolves. And, here with us for the summer. And so glad to have you. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to give you guys a recommendation.
Okay.
And if you've spent any time around me, I'm sorry because you've probably heard me talk about this. Right. It is hard. But if you do subscribe to Disney Plus, man, that new Muppet series called Muppet Mayhem.
Did you think he was going to say that?
You didn't know where I
did not know where he was going with that.
Where I was headed?
Like, I
kind of thought it was going to be Star Wars there for
Muppets,
a second.
And then I was not expecting that.
Let me explain myself.
Okay.
We're fans of music. We started today when we got in here talking about music. It's all about music. So the premise is there's this Muppet band, which I'm sure has made appearances in other Muppet movies or whatever.
Totally.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem is their name, I think. Yeah. Anyway, they're like, in their 50s or whatever, but they've never recorded an album, and they're going to record an album. But, I mean, Chris
sweet.
Stapleton, Ziggy Marley, Zed, like all these like now musicians are in there. So it's like a mockumentary sort of.
Oh, that's great.
But it is very entertaining. We have watched all 10 episodes in my house.
Wasn't one of the Muppets like, they call him Animal?
Animal is the drummer.
That's what I was going to say.
Animal's the drummer.
You probably most identify with him then.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
The resemblance.
It's uncanny.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm telling you, it's really entertaining, really funny.
Yeah.
There's 10 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we enjoyed that over the weekend at my house. So I know
that's
Anthony maybe would relate more to the tunes or racket than
Anthony
the story
really likes anything sports on TV.
Yeah.
He is glued to it. And we end up talking about European football quite a bit after the podcast, and that's what we watched Saturday and Sunday morning this weekend.
Man, that's the way to do it.
And been watching Ted Lasso. So it gets me in the mood.
Somebody asked me, I got a call from my buddy yesterday. He was like, how are they going to wrap this up? There's one episode left. And I had to dig around, and they're doing 12. There's 3 more episodes. Counting last night. So I still don't know how they're going to do it in 3 episodes.
I still haven't started.
You're not watching.
I still haven't started it. Still haven't started.
But
let me tell you about it.
Oh, totally.
No, he's been through the first 2 seasons. He's just waiting.
This season.
The third season to back up.
Haven't done this.
Katie, do you watch Ted Lasso? Yeah.
So you may be like me. I like to wait till that season's done and then watch it.
That's
you know. And I messed up with Ted Lasso. Actually, I thought it was done and started it, and then I got like 4 episodes in, and I was,
yeah.
This is the first season I've had to wait week to week. Well,
nice cups, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for hooking a guy up.
Yeah,
So-
we.
yeah. Jason,
you have a coffee cup there, don't you? A paper coffee cup.
He must like me more than he likes you because Jason gave me this bottle last week.
Well, we're still working on some things, but
it's all right.
We do have
It's all good.
we do have these nice Arkansas AgCast branded Nalgene bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I'm still behind the scenes, so I get it. It's all good.
Yeah, it's complicated. I will tell you.
Well, he used to be at the table in the first few podcasts y'all did, right?
Yeah, he did. He did back in the day.
Yeah.
But
it's okay.
Here he is hanging and calling me out for it.
So maybe we'll have an episode for those who do watch where just every once in a while I'll be wearing something different.
Yeah.
When it pops over here.
For sure.
We'll just see how that goes. So it's all good.
You should. Well, let me see. A couple programming notes here. We are taking off next week, officially from the normal version of the podcast. Just know that we're traveling. Brian and I are traveling. Matthew's traveling. I don't know what Mac's is doing.
This is news to me.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
Thanks for the invite, man.
Where y'all going? Maybe I want to go.
Doesn't feel good, does it?
No,
a ghost tour is going to be involved.
A ghost tour?
Yeah. How about that? You're out on that?
I'm not crazy about that. It's like scary movies. I don't understand why people like to watch scary movies.
Yeah.
Why do you want to scare yourself that bad? Like, I watch movies for like entertainment value. Take load off stress and stuff, but
I can neither confirm or deny, but I'm pretty sure Teddy Ruxpin's going to be on this tour. So.
Yeah, just chatting at you.
Little inside joke there.
So we are going to take off next week for the AgCast, but what's really exciting is the following week we're going to introduce a new element of the show. It's an AgCast deep dive. So these are going to be sort of extra episodes. They won't take the place of the normal show every week, where we take a closer look at topics that are important to you, our listeners. We've had a lot of interest in this. We've had a lot of comments about, hey, I like that story. I wish you would have talked more about it. So we're listening to that feedback and going to do more on that. You're going to host the first episode.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited about that opportunity that you've stowed on me. So but I think these will be really good. I think that'll be interesting. I think our listeners would like to learn a little bit more about the surface level information we're able to give them here. And those deep dives will really be able to dive deep into those particular topics. Yeah,
that first edition is going to be on the beef cold storage story that you covered last week with the input from Jake.
Yeah,
Jake and I talked earlier in the week, and he's actually anticipating we're talking about doing that in place of next week, but he's anticipating USDA catching up on their data release. So we're going to hold on that.
It'll be little bit more up to date.
The following week. Yeah, exactly. So a little bit more data driven too. So anyhow, keep an eye out for the AgCast deep dives. Some other titles that we're going to work on. You guys, your department releases Ag Insiders.
Yes.
Which is sort of the idea is it's a white paper type kind of report that you guys put out on many different topics.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll try and have deep dives on those. Like you're working on some coming up on the different titles of the Farm Bill.
Yeah, we've got that in the works right now. And then, I mean, kind of the hope is to dive into each one of those titles in the Farm Bill and just kind of explain in English, let's put it that way, the most simple terms, because that Farm Bill is huge, complicated.
So what I think will be cool is if you read the Ag Insider on the fourth title, let's say, there'll be a link in there when you get done reading, and you say, hey, go listen to Johnny Mack and Tyler talk about the fourth title of the Farm Bill. So
and if you want to see those, they'll be at arfb.com.
Yeah, just look for the Ag Insider tab. So anyhow, I think that's pretty cool. Just a reminder that next week is Memorial Day weekend, and hope you guys have some good food planned. We won't get in that today because we spent so much time talking about Muppets. But a good long weekend to everybody since we won't be on the show next week. And then a last reminder, the last time you'll hear us talk about this, but the Arkansas Farm Bureau Foundation trap shoot registration closes May 26th, which is just a few days away. Next week, the event will take place on June 9th in Jacksonville. You're putting a team in, certainly. There will be a number of 4-H and FFA students and high school shooting teams there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we want you to put a team in, too, if you think you've got what it takes. How many
Absolutely.
people are on a team? Do you know?
There's 5 of us. So I'm assuming every other team is like that. But I don't know. I'd have to ask Amanda, do they do individual competitions, too? No. It's just the teams?
Just the teams, Matthew says. So.
Yep.
They do shoot-offs at the end for whoever is the highest scoring shooter.
Shoot-offs at the end for the
that's
highest scoring
cool.
shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember last year.
You'll be there. You'll be in that.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. I mean, come on.
I think you'll be there.
Now, they had 2 kids last year. Out of, I think you get 25 shots first round, 25 the next time, and they didn't miss any.
Oh, my God.
And they shot out until, and I don't remember how long it went. It went long enough to where we just finally left.
Yeah, y'all can keep shooting if you want to. We're going to get some.
Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, so sign up for that. I'm sure you can do that at arfp.com. And I guess we should probably get in the news. Matthew's giving us the eyeball like you guys have been just chatting.
yeah, we're past 30-minute mark already. At least walking into the studio.
Yeah. All right. You want to kick us off?
Yeah. Let's go ahead. So this past week or last week, we reported, I think, while we were recording about Proposition 12.
Yeah.
And so cauliflower, California's Proposition 12 animal housing law was upheld in the Supreme Court last week. As we mentioned last week, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld Proposition 12 in a 5-4 decision. SCOTUS found that the law was not unconstitutional and does not violate the court's Dormant Commerce Clause precedents. Proposition 12, or California's Prevention of Animal Cruelty to Farm Animals Act, builds on Proposition 2 from 2008. This measure banned keeping hens, calves, and pigs in cramped cages but didn't define the size requirements for cages and did not apply to out-of-state farmers. However, with new Proposition 12, specific cage requirements are defined and will apply to out-of-state farmers who sell eggs, veal, and pork in California.
Oh, wow.
So Proposition 12 just kind of adds more to it, more specifics.
So if you're in the supply chain going to California.
Yeah, even if you're in Arkansas and you're wanting to sell your products, pork, cat, or veal, or eggs, you're going to have to be in these requirements to be able to sell in the state of California.
Okay.
There's been 2 lawsuits by national agricultural groups claiming that Prop 12 sales ban violates the Constitution's Dormant Commerce Clause by placing an undue burden on out-of-state veal and pork producers. Back in March, SCOTUS granted a writ of certoria. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes.
Okay. Petition submitted by the National Pork Producers Council, or NPPC, and the American Farm Bureau Federation, AFBF, and National Pork Producers Council versus Karen Ross. Karen Ross. Under the Dormant Commerce Clause theory, the Commerce Clause of the U.S. Constitution not only gives Congress the power to regulate interstate trade, but also forbids state economic regulations from purposefully discriminating against out-of-state economic interests.
Interesting.
While not disagreeing that the law may impose substantial new costs on out-of-state pork producers who wish to sell their products in California, the court rejected the petitioner's contention that the court's Dormant Commerce Clause case suggests an almost per se rule forbidding enforcement of the state laws that have the practical effect of controlling commerce out of the state, even when those laws do not purposely discriminate against out-of-state interests. The court also rejected the petitioner's alternative argument that the Dormant Commerce Clause prevents a state from regulating the sale of an ordinary consumer good within its own borders on non-discriminatory terms if the law's burdens are clearly excessive in relation to the putative local benefits. Also, I wanted to note that the Biden administration showed concern that this decision would disrupt the nation's pork market. So this has pretty big impacts on pork producers and the input costs that are going to occur on this, and more than likely is going to push more or higher retail prices on consumers for this rule. And it's just odd, according to a state's rules and regulations, that the rest of the country is going to have to abide by this. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what this Commerce Clause was there for in federal law, was to prevent things like this happening.
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court somehow decides that it's not in effect here.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have additional content resources coming in the next few weeks and days to kind of help understand and outline the impact for Arkansas producers here. So keep an eye out. But thanks for bringing that. That
absolutely.
was a good one. Unfortunately we couldn't expand on that last week because it was happening as we were here.
Yeah.
Next, this story comes from Farm Progress via Mary Hightower at the U of A System Division of Agriculture. We're going to talk about Mississippi River levels and how those are impacting soybean basis, something that you maybe should be reporting instead of me.
Yeah, I kind of thought you stole this from me.
Provide some insight. As opposed to our reporting in the fall when river levels were at record lows and causing issues with basis, now we're seeing similar issues with basis but with high water levels thanks to melting snowpack, according to Hunter Byram, extension economist for the U of A. Byram recommends soybean producers take a wait-and-see approach to contracting this spring until the river is done carrying the snowpack downstream. He notes that the record low levels last year left grain elevators with a heavy backup of inventory on hand, mainly because of the increased cost to transport that commodity. Now with areas in Minnesota breaking 30-year-old snowfall records, the river is seeing high levels, sometimes flooding along its winding path. As of earlier this month, nearly 30 river gauges, and I think there's 71, or at least as this story reference in total, nearly 30 of those showed major to moderate flood stages for the river. These high levels can limit barge traffic, preventing grain and empty barge transport. It's an interesting flip to see high river levels causing similar issues as last fall's low river levels. And Byram says that as river levels fall, the relatively strong basis should return in the Mid-South. We'll continue watching this and keeping an eye out and reporting as needed. But I think that snow has already began to melt to a degree. We'll talk about it here in a minute. But I think the Dakotas and especially central Minnesota have reached the point where they are sort of feel like they're out of winter finally.
Yeah.
So
I saw something on DTN about this a few weeks ago, and I think you and I discussed it a little bit. There might have been something else going on that we reported on, but so I've been watching this, and then last year we dealt with last fall, not even 6 months ago, we dealt with the complete opposite problem.
Yeah.
That flooding hadn't come down to us yet compared to the way it is up there, but you never know. I mean, something to watch out.
We crossed the river there at Morrilton over the weekend and had crossed it last year in the middle of that drought.
Yeah.
and it was amazing to see. You didn't realize how low. I mean, the water was low. You couldn't even get to that grain facility right there. But to see the water, and it's honestly, it still looked kind of low. Like, I still think we're waiting on some of that water. I know that's the Arkansas, but I still think we're still waiting on some of that water to get back down to this part of the country. All right, well, let's take a short break from the news to hear a reminder about keeping rural roads safe during planting season.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
It's so important that we work together to keep each other safe on the roads. You may find yourself on the road with a farmer moving hay this time of year, and right now we're seeing those row crop implements too. Let's just all be sure to help one another cultivate safe roads. Now let's get back to the news.
All right.
It's my turn, huh?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So Southern Ag Today, you've heard us report different articles from them. They're a good source of information, especially economic information.
Absolutely.
So this one comes from Dr. Anderson. So Southern Ag Today reports that brisket prices are going up. It looks like Jake Cartwright's prediction last week of the beef and cold storage is pretty spot on.
Yeah, he's on it.
So last week we reported that beef and cold storage inventory was decreasing, and evidence from Jake showed that this would soon cause retail prices at the grocery store to increase. Mm-hmm. Just like I said, Dr. David Anderson, who is a professor and extension economist at Texas A&M Extension or Agri-Life Extension, published a great article on this website stating why beef brisket prices are going up. I quoted him here saying, for the year through the week ending May 13th, beef production is down 4.7% compared to last year. Mm-hmm. Steer slaughter is 4.7% below last year, and heifer slaughter is 0.3% more than last year. The number of cattle going to market is important for briskets because each animal only has two.
Good to know.
And these briskets are a cut that is often sold as a whole primal. They're not processed in any way. In addition, steer and heifer breast weights are below a year ago, so total pounds of brisket available is further reduced. Dr. Anderson mentioned that prime grade briskets were up $2.43 per pound for the week of May 12th. And even though the price is down 6 cents over the last 3 weeks, it's 16% higher than the first of the year and 11% higher than a year ago.
Yeah. Beef in general.
Yeah. And prime's already the most expensive grade you can get. Choice, branded, and select quality grade briskets prices have seen similar increases compared to a year ago as well. You know, it's kind of all across the board.
Yep.
Dr. Anderson here again says, since February, prime briskets have commanded the highest price in the market. That price strength is likely related to slightly fewer cattle grading prime and more choice than a year ago. Many smaller, high-end barbecue restaurants source prime branded briskets due to their cooked qualities. Mm-hmm. So that's probably why it's so expensive at barbecue restaurants, because they're buying those prime, not the choice ones you and I buy at the grocery store, huh?
Yeah. Don't get Matthew started on that.
He goes on to say that smaller beef supplies and decreased slaughter will keep pressure on higher prices. Restaurants will incur higher prices and could possibly push that to the customer, but it will be difficult due to consumers' lack of willingness to pay for such high prices due to our current status of our economy.
Yeah.
Fears of recessions and stuff like that. Maybe less money in the household to be able to spend on things like that.
RFD had a segment, not on this, but just on beef prices in general a couple weeks ago. I like to listen to their program on Sirius XM, and they had this conversation about pork markets becoming stronger for farmers. because they felt like maybe we had hit that end of the line for consumers willing to pony up for the beef prices like they have been.
Yeah.
Especially as we turn to summer with more cookouts and you're feeding more people, you're buying more at once. That pork price can be a little bit friendlier.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, but even with COVID, it seemed like people were just still spending money even after it, and it's like, where's all this money come from? When's this bubble going to pop eventually?
Yeah,
and this may be
headed that direction.
Those times. So.
Well, I can tell you, I like a good brisket, but man, they're hard to cook.
I've got one in my freezer right now from Michael Lee. I've been wanting to cook.
Yeah.
So maybe Memorial Day weekend, we'll see.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a good option. Is that direct to consumer farmer who can sell these, because they may be a little less impacted by this overall sort of inventory supply chain.
Yeah, they're going to be able to control their own inventory.
You know what I've got from him is a rack of beef ribs.
Ooh.
I have learned that I can cook a beef rib better and easier than a brisket.
I would agree.
I've sort of turned my attention away from the brisket.
They're just as good, if not better.
Oh man, it's a steak on a bone.
You've seen them where on the internet they take them and they put them in like bread.
Yeah,
and make a big sandwich of them with the bone still on it.
Just
wrap it up and pull the bone out of it.
I saw some tacos like that.
Really?
So yeah. Anyway, man, I'm getting hungry. All right.
See, you guys talked about Memorial Day anyway.
I know. So maybe you should do your brisket for Memorial Day.
I might. I think we might be out of town though.
Oh, okay.
I can't.
That's
a
time commitment, man.
It is. I think this is just the flat. I don't think it's a whole brisket.
Oh, okay. So you're not talking like 12, 13 hours.
I hope not.
Yeah. The flat's the best part.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, rounding out the news today, we're going to combine planning progress with the first WASDE report from this year. That's not true. The May WASDE report, I should say.
Yeah.
Let's give the broader outlook for corn first. We're going to take this crop by crop. Taking a look at the May WASDE, USDA estimates corn planted this marketing year will be up 4% over last year at 92 million acres. USDA forecasts that just over 84 million acres of that corn will be harvested with an average yield of 181.5 bushels per acre. In Arkansas, we've planted 93% of the corn crop. 77% has emerged. Nearly 75% of the crop is rated good to excellent as of this week. So we'll see how we fare in that yield average. As of this report, USDA estimates farmers will plant 87.5 million acres of beans this season, which would be unchanged from 2022. Mm-hmm. That said, those acres were up 5% from 2020, 2022 acres, I mean. And yields expect to increase this year over last, with 52 bushels per acre being the expectation, up 2.5 bushels per acre over last year. Hard to believe that the national average is over 50 bushels an acre now.
Yeah.
Technology sure has brought us a long way on soybeans. U.S. soybean farmers are projected to produce just over 4.5 billion bushels this year, well above last year in the 5-year average, probably, again, according to that, just based on that yield growth. In Arkansas, we've planted 57% of the crop, 36% has emerged, 70% of that crop is rated good to excellent. Moving on, U.S. farmers are expected to plant just over 11 million acres of cotton this year, which is an 18% drop over last year. Of those acres, USDA expects just a little more than 8.5 million acres to be harvested based on historical abandonment, yet slightly improved soil moisture in the southern plains. USDA expects 10% yield drop on cotton to 854 pounds per acre, down about 9% over the 5-year average. So 10% down over last year, 9% overall in the 5-year. Here locally, more than half the cotton acres have been planted, and a quarter has emerged. There's no crop condition to report for cotton in Arkansas. All right. Rice is not included in the WASDE report, as we know, but we'll obviously report that here on the show. We've seen 3/4 of the state's rice crop planted. Over half has emerged. So far, just under 70% is rated good to excellent. We also have over half of the peanut crop planted. A quarter has emerged. And finishing up with planting progress, the first hay cutting, which would be harvest progress, not planting progress, I guess. But the first hay cutting is up nearly 0.25%, or 25% complete. We've had several days when rain was in the forecast but failed to ever realize. Yesterday was one of those. I'm sure we can credit those dry days for so much progress in planting across the board. Wrapping up the May WASDE is the first real look at the crops across the country. The anticipated report shows some bearish signs for corn and soybeans as of now, but there's still a lot of time for things to change, especially with winter just now exiting the Dakotas and part of Minnesota, as we mentioned earlier. And a shout-out to Brent Nelson, economist at AFBF, for providing some insight into some of these numbers as well.
Well, you look at the peanut crop. That's in the state? Or is that?
Yeah, that's in the state.
I guess that kind of shows kind of the small state.
WASDE doesn't cover that.
Yep. When we just reported on peanut progress for the first time last week before, and now it's almost done.
Yeah, I know.
So,
it's been rolling. So that's interesting to see there. But yeah, anyway, we're moving right along. Starting to see sprayers. Saw a lot of planes last couple of weekends out and about. Before too long, it'll all be in the ground.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Helena for Memorial Day weekend, so I'll bring back a report of what I saw on the highway.
Please do. Do you get off at Palestine Wheatley? You got go forward?
I was literally just talking to somebody about this the other day.
Yeah.
So my wife and I have been together almost 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And we would take the Bisco exit.
Oh, yeah.
And take that terrible highway.
The Wheatley isn't much better.
Yeah.
But
so finally I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. The traffic on the interstate, one, is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then that highway was awful. So we ended up just going through Stuttgart for a long time.
Really?
It's extra 15 minutes, but it's worth it.
That's kind of like taking 64 over to Memphis.
Yeah. But I guess during turkey season, I was in a hurry trying to get down there, and I was like, I'm just going to take the interstate.
Yeah.
They redid that Bisco highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice.
Real nice.
I may do that next time.
Just for you.
We usually go to Wheatley.
They knew John McMahon was coming.
Got that new baby in tow.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, that's all for the news, and I guess that's it for the show. So we'll see you guys later.
I see what you're doing there.
He wasn't going to let it shut down just yet.
No, he wasn't.
You guys loved last week so much. I thought we'd continue on some of that.
Yeah.
We're all about policy here. So, and a lot goes into that, and for very good reason.
Yeah.
I found some more gems from other states.
You and I got a question about that the other day.
Can't ride a horse down Main Street on Tuesday past 9 o'clock.
Exactly.
While eating ice cream.
All of this it's some state policy that was written years ago that just never has been taken
off the books or whatever.
So I have a few more for you this week.
Okay.
So let's have some fun.
All right.
I'm excited.
It's not trivia.
It is trivia.
Oh, it is.
It is.
It's not riddles.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you could just say it's trivial. So,
okay. I see.
In Florida. So we're going to Florida first.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
Only on Sundays.
Okay.
It is illegal for a single woman to do what?
I don't know that that's any of my business. Walk alone.
Cook fried chicken.
Walk down the sidewalk alone.
No. Skydive. It's random.
Yeah.
I don't know why they singled out single women, but I mean, clearly there's something happened there.
They don't
Was there a problem with the number of single women that were jumping out of planes?
On Sundays.
On Sunday.
I don't understand, but there's a story there. Someone could write at least an incredible blog of all the things behind all this.
Yeah.
What were the single men doing on Sundays in Florida back then?
I don't know.
Staying on the ground.
I don't know. Okay, let's go to California.
Okay. It's bound to get weirder.
In California, you can't legally buy a mousetrap without having what?
Oh, that's a driver's license for sure.
I think so. A permit from the state.
Oh, man, you're getting closer.
Very likely.
You're getting closer.
What's something else like a permit?
A piece of cheese.
A shotgun?
A hunting license.
A hunting license. That sounds.
Which makes me wonder if that's
believable.
how. You know that movie.
So the Game and Fish, or the Commission of Natural Resources in California, manages and regulates their rat killing.
I guess so. You know, that movie Mouse Hunt, my daughter growing up, she loved that movie. And it was great. But it makes me wonder if it was spawned by this.
It was no Muppets. But.
Okay. And since we're getting ready to go to Georgia next week.
Yeah, that's right.
In Georgia, it's illegal to eat what with a fork?
Peach?
Soup.
Pizza.
Soup.
Pizza, you say?
Yeah.
This is
He's
opening up something.
fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
You cannot eat fried chicken with a fork.
That's appropriate.
So
all right,
I stand by that.
That brings up a question.
Okay. All right.
So if you're in like I would say more than a professional setting, a dinner or a banquet, and you're wearing a suit or something real nice like that, and they serve fried chicken.
Yeah.
Are you just picking it up and eating it like a normal person, or are you?
That's a tough question.
Cut this with my knife.
Yeah.
It's a weird deal.
That's a good question. Do you have an answer for that?
I don't, but clearly, John can join in with me here. If there's any more, especially with the beard.
Oh yeah,
if there's fried chicken, I'm not gonna. Especially if I'm in a suit, I'm not gonna sit there and pick that up and eat it like that. It's all fork.
But I've done that in that situation, and I've had people just pick that fried chicken up and eat it.
Yeah, right.
Well, unless I just want to be the life of the party and just be like, what?
Yeah,
and you just have it all over me. I don't care.
I think in that scenario you're talking about, you got to go fork and knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, then, what about pizza?
Matthew says no.
What about pizza?
I'll do pizza with a fork.
It depends on how. Honestly, the temperature is what delegates whether or not I use it. If it's so hot, like I gotta have a fork.
We had pizza here 2 days ago, and I ate it with a fork because same reason.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's funny you say that. I did it because I'm, eating in front of colleagues and other people. I'm like, I don't want to just be, stuffing this big slice of pizza in my mouth. And
ranch or no ranch?
Oh, I went ranch.
Yeah, I did ranch too.
Is that a southern thing?
They brought like the medium sized cup.
Full of ranch.
3 of them full of ranch.
All right, my last question, and then we can be done. So, is it? I've got a buddy that's different here, and I disagree with him wholeheartedly. Okay. The ranch you get like at a restaurant, like you make the ranch, right? You can do it at home,
right?
Or do you like the ranch out of the bottle at the grocery store better?
1, 2, 3. Homemade.
There you go, Brad. You're wrong. You always will be.
Now, what do we eat more? Out of the bottle?
Yeah,
just because we can't use
it's easier.
Go through it.
Sure,
enough time.
It doesn't taste as good though.
Yeah, but it's not the way to do it.
We make all our dressing now.
Yeah,
all of it.
Really?
All of it.
Okay.
Salads, everything we've got.
Yeah,
just bottles of oils,
vinaigrette, whatever it is. Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah,
so
it
much
is,
better.
And better for you, right? But yes, ranch does belong on pizza.
Yeah. Belongs on it, or
no,
dipping
like with it, dipping. Come on.
I'm looking.
Although I do like a bacon cheeseburger pizza.
Bacon.
I'm looking at Matthew's expression as he's like,
so
guys,
frustrated with this.
We are just going.
But he wants to give his opinion too.
Oh, he's already given it a while ago. He's like guilty as charged.
Yeah, we're long.
All right. Well, I guess that ought to do it. That wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast and taking the time to watch and listen. We're thankful for that.
Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version on iTunes or Spotify. And make sure to subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes.
Yeah, the Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMinn.
And we'll see you next week.